The Saturday of every day is that day where we sit back, relax, and enjoy what the weekend has got to bring. But hey, I don't think there's a better way to start your Saturday than being here at the largest television network in Africa with the longest running independent sports show on Nigerian television. This is HotSports. My name is Babajide Guerrero, and boy oh boy am I excited to have you join us as usual. And we have to thank you as usual for being there over the years. Yeah, he wasn't here last week, and this was because he was getting ready for his convocation ceremony. And ladies and gentlemen, it's good to have the analyst with the MSc in our midst. How you doing, Israel Bankole?
Good morning.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, man.
So let the word know now. So MSc in what now?
Yeah, it's in French. Yeah.
In French. So that means bonjour.
Yeah. So,
bonjour tout le monde.
Yeah, bonjour tout le monde. Nous sommes ici à HotSports. Comme d'habitude, nous allons parler de sport comme d'habitude avec Babajide et suivez-nous jusqu'à la fin.
I have no idea what he's saying, but hey, God bless you too. But really, we want to say congratulations to you. It's a good thing to have, you joining us again. Yes, he's joining us again for the first time in a while. These guys they go all the way to brief hiatus, they go on transfer window, and then they come back. It's always a good thing to have them join us back. Tony Swimpy, yes. How you doing, man?
Good.
Good morning. How you doing? How have you been?
Fantastic.
Of course.
It's good to be back from the sidelines.
Absolutely. Yes. You copped an injury for like 6 or 9 months, I think was you're back. All right, that's the feel. Yeah. All right, guys, we will go for a quick break, and when we return, we'll be live on Sports HotSports, where we open up amazing discussions going forward. Stick around.
Ahead of the 2019 African Cup of Nations in Egypt, Super Eagles striker Ahmed Musa has declared that he can play in any attacking position, including the top striker's role, depending on what Coach Gernot Roh requires from him.
For me, anywhere the coach wants me to play, I always get used to it. For Igalo, we have only the point man over there, and now he's fit again. It's not that injured that we're going to say that Ahmed Musa is going to play in the top striker. But any day, anytime, anything can happen that Ahmed Musa is going to play in the top striker. So we're going to stay and wait for that time to come.
However, the team's top striker, Odion Igalo, feels there are other players in the Super Eagles who are capable of giving a good fight for the top striker's shirts.
Blessed with great players. We have good strikers there. You see Henry Yekuru is there, we have Paul is there. They are capable of doing the job, So with or without me, I think the team is going to do well on team.
Igalo topped Africa's highest goal scorers chart for the AFCON 2019 qualifying series with 7 goals to help Nigeria finish top of the group ahead of South Africa, Libya and Seychelles.
I'm a striker, we have been judged by goals, so anytime I score, I'm always happy because this is what the club, the country want me to do, to score goals. That's why I always put emotion, even when I miss the goal. So you see the emotion too, because I want to always try to score. So that's it.
And we are back. If you're just joining us, not to worry. We're just about to get into the meat of the conversations. All right, so this is an aftermath of the AFCON 2019 draws. But guys, the draws has come and gone. But most importantly, guys, we are expecting the national team to get ready to play some very, very important friendly, Israel Bankole. And then the fact that Gernot Roh has come out to say the campaign is 3 weeks to the Nations Cup, so there's no need for any usual fire brigade approach. Everything should be done accordingly.
Nice one for Gernot Roh coming out to say we need to prepare well. We know the Super Eagles where we do things, we prepare this fire brigade approach. Now it's coming out to say we need to prepare, we need to camp, we need to start the campaign earlier enough. I think it's a nice one. Remember the last game we played against Egypt in our qualifier, we saw some new players like Paul Onachu scoring that goal. So hopefully we can see some other players break into the Super Eagles team. The Nation Cup, I think we'll have a smooth ride in the Nation Cup because there are other teams in the Nation Cup. There are minnows in the Nation Cup. We must say that Nigeria is not a team that will go to the Nation Cup. We'll go out at the beginning stage of the season. So I think we'll go for a Nation Cup, but we need to see other players break into this team.
I was said, DJ Bankole. Tony Swimpy, what do you make of this?
I feel like it's very important for us to start preparing on time for such competition because in most times we always have lagging time frame in terms of preparation. So going into AFCON this early and then having this preparation is very important, and NFF pulling in all the supports that they're supposed to do for the team in order for them to be geared up to have a very successful outing is very important and vital, so that the coach could be able to select the group of players or crop of players that are important for that competition.
Of course, we're expecting the very best of the best players to play for Nigeria as they file out in Egypt come June. Let's talk about the mother of all leagues at the moment, the UEFA Champions League. During this particular week, we saw the first round of quarterfinal games on Tuesday and on Wednesday. But we'll talk about the ones that happened first on Tuesday, and then we'll slightly touch the Wednesday games. Tottenham Hotspur defeated Manchester City. Was that part of the script you read?
I didn't see that coming, to be honest. I didn't see that coming. But in football, they say anything can happen.
Absolutely.
And to be honest, I feel like the Man City side really underrated the Tottenham side. If you watch the gameplay, they felt like they could take on the Tottenham side. Obviously, Man City is going to come up with the presses. Raheem Sterling coming on constantly at Tottenham. Even when Tottenham lost Harry Kane, they didn't give up. They still pressured on, and they got that goal through Heung-min Son. Did
Manchester United Barcelona, they did live up to the biddings for you?
It was a good game, all round. It was a good game. On the other hand, I would have expected more from Manchester United because going forward, they weren't really potent forward. But they did well by curtailing the Barcelona side in the middle. They kept Messi quiet throughout the game. There were fantastic saves by De Gea from Messi and Suarez as well. And I feel like Manchester United would have gotten more from that game because they played well. Scott McTominay was fantastic in the game. He was super impressive. He played really well, gets the ball, launches the ball forward again, and really played really well. Rashford was not so well in the game as well, and I think a bit of Busquets was lagging as well in the game as well. So I feel like it was just a balanced game. It was a 50-50 game. But going forward to Camp Nou, if Manchester United can have the liver, so to say, to come out, I feel like they could get something out of the game.
Can they buy that liver from you?
I don't think so. I don't think they can buy that liver.
All right, then. So we would like to move on now to inform you that the Africa Under-17 Championship kicks off on Sunday, April 14th, and we're looking forward to how that one would definitely be, especially for the Golden Eagles of Nigeria. If at all they can hoist the flag of the country high, we'll be keeping our hopes up for that particular one. And of course, on your screen right now is the tour of the FIFA Women's World Cup. Of course, it came to Nigeria, and a lot of us were actually there to see. Of course, that visual is on your screen. And finally, before we go into the conversations, we also want to say congratulations to Dwayne Wade. Of course, one of the biggest. You guys like Dwayne Wade?
Yeah.
If you don't like Dwayne Wade, I'll just open the door of the studio and send you out. I'm a huge Dwayne Wade fan.
I could say that Miami Heat having Dwayne Wade for 16 seasons has been fantastic. Yeah. He has been a cult hero for Miami Heat. He has won 3 championships for them. And even the time when Shaquille O'Neal came in as partner for Dwayne Wade, it was a fantastic pair in the league at the time. It was stronger than the likes of Steph Curry and co that they have right now. But I feel like Dwayne Wade has offered a lot to the game, and he deserves the tickets to the Hall of Fame.
He deserves some accolade?
Yeah, he deserves some accolade. Like
all right, so of course, Dwayne Wade getting a triple-double. Of course, that was his 6th triple-double in his career. 25 points, I think 11 rebounds, and of course 10 assists. And of course, that really meant well for Dwayne Wade. Well, this could be a joke, or it could probably be something for fun. But Vladimir Klitschko, remember him? The man who retired after losing to AJ Anthony Joshua and forfeiting all his championship, has said, you know what, guys, for me to come out of retirement, I'm going to need me some $100 million.
That's outrageous.
Yeah.
Is he joking? Is he okay? Like, is he okay?
I don't think it's
I think his brother is a doctor. One of them is a doctor. There's a doctor. I think they should no disrespect, but do you guys feel this is realistic? $100 million?
No. Even Klitschko cannot pull that kind of crowd. Right now, it's out of the game. I want to take Joshua.
Remember that Vladimir Klitschko, just like Israel said, is 43 years old, and the division has seen a lot of lucrative fighters and, of course, fights coming through the ranks. Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, AJ, of course, to mention a few, are doing that particular sect. Quite interesting things. And moving on to motorsports, where we call it a show here for now. Mercedes-Benz drivers are Valerie Bottas, and of course the man who just cannot stop winning, Lewis Hamilton, are saying that, hey, there's a feel that this particular Ferrari team could have an advantage, an unusual advantage ahead of us in the forthcoming Chinese Grand Prix. Now, this particular international circuit will be the 1000th Grand Prix in the history of the Formula One, and everyone is looking forward to how that one would look like. But interestingly, Hamilton and Bottas are saying that because the Shanghai circuit has a lot of straight road, and that means that Ferrari could have their noses in front. Well, it will mean good for Ferrari because they already said everything is to their best, racer in the person of Sebastian Vettel, who is yet to even get a pole position in this one. We'll go for a quick break, and when we return, the question we're asking today is quite simple and precise.
I think I've had some time to think about it already because we've been qualified a couple of months ago after the South Africa match. So it's a big thing, definitely. Especially following the World Cup last year, having a big tournament for Nigeria and the year consecutive is a very great thing, especially if you consider the fact that we've not been going for the past 2 tournaments. So it's a big thing. I think expectations are very high. But for now, I'm just happy and grateful for another big opportunity to face a big tournament with Nigeria. I don't want to sound arrogant, but I don't see it as a challenge really. I think I was invited at one point because Stephen Keshi back then, he saw quality in me and he believed in me. And what I'm just trying to do is my best, give it my all always. And I bring maybe some kind of German mentality in here. I know some of the lads, sometimes they think I'm too strict and too vocal, but that's just me in the game. It's never personal. It's just how I was raised in football. And as I said, it's about the team, about the collective. And the better we do as a collective, the better I can be. It's never about my own performance in particular. Of course, I need to put in work and do my best and give it my all, but I can't win a game alone, and Igalo can't win a game alone. Alex Iwobi cannot win a game alone. It's all about the collective always, and I think I've been very blessed and happy to play in a generation of the Super Egos where we always had great unity, and yeah, that's what I profit from after all. Of course I bring my own qualities, but yeah, I'm happy that the team believes in me, that fans believed in me over all those years, and I hope I can put some more smiles on their faces.
We're asking this morning on this week's issue, with more than 80% of the current crop of players for the Super Eagles making their debut at the African Cup of Nations to happen in Egypt, will inexperience be the bane of the Super Eagles? Will it be that particular thing that will not make them go forward? That's the question we're asking. And this gentleman, right after this break, will be back with a thesis statement. Stick around.
Yeah, I think experience doesn't matter because we've won the AFCON title. Taking players that had never played in the AFCON and eventually became winner of the tournament. I think experience doesn't matter.
All right, so Swimpy, you think experience is a very important part of this?
I definitely, for every team or for every national squad, experience is always important in every team.
And we are back. So, gentlemen, let's go right into it. Tony, Swimpy, what are your thoughts?
I feel like for every time we want to go out for any competition, we should definitely have marquee players who have experiences in such competitions. Going with inexperience, a lot of times you used to have, you wouldn't have the time to start putting through these players as to what to do and what not to do. Even if they have the talent and the skill and technical know-how, but they might not have that experience and to have conquered or played such opponents that are going to play at the competition. So it is very vital for you to have experience in the team going to the African Cup of Nations. So
are you saying these guys are not experienced and they're not experienced players because they play in Europe. Most of them play in Europe. Majority of them play in Europe. And this same team, most of them went to the World Cup. If you're telling us that experience really matters, are you talking about experience, the players, or the tournament? If you're talking about the tournament, yes, they've not played AFCON, but they've played bigger tournaments before now.
I feel
which
like
is the World Cup, is one of the biggest tournaments, is the biggest tournament in the world in football tournament, and they went there. And this same players got that exposure. Now we're talking about Africa here, not World Cup. And these players, I don't think the experience really matters if they've been playing together before. So there's question in that team. There's question in the team. So coming here to tell us that experience will matters, I still don't know how. Because we won the Nation Cup in 1994. We went there with inexperienced players. In 2003, late Stephen Keshi took about 14 players to that tournament, inexperienced players. They've never played in the AFCON and won the tournament. Now Gernot Roh is doing the same, taking over 80 players, inexperienced players, to the Nation Cup. I think Nigeria is about to win the fourth title, their fourth Nation Cup title.
Going back what you said. You said inexperienced players are not an issue to the team
at all.
But I will tell you that experience matters in whatever it is, because when you play a certain team that you haven't played before, whether you've played in Europe or whatever, it doesn't matter, because in the African soil it's a different ball game entirely. These guys that you're coming up to play are physically strong. They played in a different terrain. Most of them play in the African League, so they understand this terrain and they know how to play really well. So if you have not played these guys before, you coming up to say that you taking the European experience as part of what you want to use to play in the AFCON is not good enough. It's not a good CV. I can't take that. If you're coming to my office like that, I would throw away that CV.
But gentlemen, let's just go through this, okay? Sometimes we see in football that a team that is almost entirely novice make it to a major tournament. I mean, how does that happen? I mean, or probably sometimes we also see teams that we didn't give any eye to because they didn't have any top players or experience, and then they go all the way. Take, for example, the German team that won the World Cup in 2010. Most of those players were actually relatively new players at that stage of the World Cup, and then they went on to win the World Cup. So I really don't know, because maybe you guys could just explain to me. Maybe Shrimpy, let me start with you. Does it really matter in the game of football?
It does. There's no way you can rule it out. Okay, I could give you an example. The UEFA Champions League just happened, and if you watch the Juventus team against
Ajax.
The Ajax team, you could notice that experience was still a bone in contention right there. Cristiano Ronaldo proved to be the difference between these two teams, even though it was a draw. But you could tell that the experienced side still played better. The inexperience in Ajax was very obvious. They were losing a lot of chances. They were timid. They were nervous, and they weren't getting at goal.
No, I understand.
Now, so if you go into AFCON, coming into AFCON, and you're coming with players who haven't played certain teams like Cameroon before, who haven't played the likes of Egypt South before, and South Africa, you would still have that jittery, that nervousness in them.
But don't you think that's why we have the friendly matches? Anyways, I'm just saying. What do you think?
We are talking about the
friendly matches are there to give these boys a good cohesion.
Let him learn this.
But it still tells you that
it's a different ballgame.
There's a different ballgame. If I have experience and I've played over time, I wouldn't have any time or any form of jittery in me. I just go into the game and do what I'm supposed to do.
Okay. Tony, we're talking about the Super Eagles here, the number 3 team in Africa. And you know Super Eagles with the quality they bring to any tournament. Super Eagles, this is African Cup of Nations, for God's sake, not the World Cup. Not the World Cup. We are going to this tournament to win it.
That's taking nothing away from African Cup of Nations.
Title contenders. Anytime we go for this tournament, we go there to win it. So if you're telling us here now they've increased the tournament to 24, and you see some videos in that
when you say title contender, because we've lost a lot of times in this same competition, and we dropped out in the group stage a lot of times.
From 1994, you hardly see Super Eagles drop out from the group stage. You remember from 1994 when we won this tournament. On 2013, we came back in 2013. We won the tournament with 14 new players. Keshi brought 14 new players and won the tournament. And now Gernot Roh is doing the same thing. I don't think. See, experience. We'll talk about experience. And we'll talk about African football. African football, not European football. Where you because African football, you play physical football. But something about this current Super Eagles team is the flair in the team. the exposure. The African football, the players we play against, they are not that exposed compared to our players. So if you're coming out to say experience really matters, look at the players on the pitch. So you can't compare what those guys will bring to the field and their counterparts.
Gentlemen, this is quite interesting because, of course, we have to go. That's just the sad part of our show. But before we go, we do have to take your final thoughts, especially starting from you, Swimpy. It's going to be your conclusion. So let's wrap this up.
Finally, I just have to say, in whatever you do, experience always counts. It will always show. So going into the tournament and you don't have experience, it will definitely tell. There's no way you can hide that, except for any miracle that happens, and except for you playing another side that is inexperienced as well, and it just happened to be that it works for you in your favor. Okay. So if you go into that tournament and you don't have enough experience in the team, it will definitely speak volume of how you play in that tournament.
Okay, very well said. The conclusion there. Israel, can you topple that?
Clement Westerhoff went to the Tunisia 94 with inexperienced players and they won the tournament. In 2003, late Stephen Keshi went to the tournament with inexperienced players. We've won the tournament with inexperienced players, so I think experience doesn't matter.
So it seems to you like this inexperience works for the team, so let it continue.
It's perfect, it's working, history is repeating itself, so Nigeria come, the end of tournament, Nigeria will win this tournament, I'm sure.
Alright then, so let's go for a quick break. Having heard the conclusions of this gentleman, I will be back with my final whistle.
I believe that we have chances to go to the last four. To say that we will win it, it's not our philosophy. We are humble. We have a young team. It's true that we have a little more experience in the World Cup, but two of our greatest players did not come since the World Cup, and we have even younger team now. We already had the youngest one in the world, so now we are again the youngest in Africa. But since the World Cup, there is a very good series of results, because in 9 games we didn't lose any, and we even make a draw in South Africa, which was a winner because we scored 2 goals more, who has not been accorded by the referee, but was no offside. Everybody saw it. So we are really in a good series of results, but we have to improve. We have also to work hard to be better in some departments in the team, but we are optimistic for the next AFCON.
You're welcome back to the show, and I'm sure you thoroughly enjoyed the arguments and the back and forth these gentlemen have served today on the show. But speaking of serving, we've been getting some of your messages, so I think because of time, I can just take one of your message. So this one is from our YouTube page, okay? Please, we'd like everyone to please go subscribe and, of course, watch most of the videos to keep up and close to every news, especially concerning the Super Eagles of Nigeria and every other sport at HotSports NG. That's our YouTube page. And, of course, do well to go to our website on www.hotsportstv.com, and of course all our social media pages right on your screen. Don Kelly Samuel says, yes, we need to support this particular guy, talking about Paul Onuachu and Gernot Roh, and then that he needs support. So what we need is to support this guy, according to Don Kelly Samuel. So please do well to join the likes of Don Kelly Samuel by texting us or probably sending us messages on our YouTube page at HotSport NG, and of course there's a phone number on your screen. Please do not call because it's just a text message platform. Now to my final whistle. How essential is experience in the world of football? I tell you what, we've seen time and time again where teams that do not have any experience at a particular stage go on to win, or rather make a good account of themselves at such stages. And of course, Miroslav Klose being the most experienced player when Germany won the World Cup, and of course South Korea at the Korea-Japan World Cup, getting to the semi-final in that particular field, and of course Nigeria in 2013. But to lean closely as well to Tony Swimpy, who feels, hey, experience is very, very important, because at some point you need the fact that you've been there, done that, you know, to come to feel. But hey, the most important feel I want is your feel. So how about you take your phone, go on to YouTube and drop your comments on our page at HotSport NG, and as well as whip out your phone to send us text messages on that particular dial on your screen. Would like to thank you very, very much, guys, for joining us on today's show, and especially the returning Tony Swimpy. Thank you so very much.
Fantastic. Coming back from the sideline has been very, very good.
Yeah, so we'll hope to see you again very soon.
Definitely.
Not on the surgery table this time, but on the football pitch.
Definitely. Scoring goals.
Scoring goals, yes. Definitely. And of course, Monsieur Israel Bankwale.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Swimpy. And to our viewers, merci beaucoup de nous avoir suivis. Bon weekend.
Did I hear you say Ashwebi or something? So, never mind me, guys. The wedding is in my head. All right, guys. So we will say thank you to you. I will see you again next week, Saturday. Remember to take care of yourself and each other, and follow us on our social media platform across the board. My name is Babajide Guerrero. Bye for now.